Hola y bienvenido a Learn Spanish en SpanishDict.com. Soy Paralee Whitmire y soy tu profesora. Hoy aprenderás de los mandatos informales y negativas en el campo, como no pises las plantas, no camines en el riachuelo y mucho más. ¡Vámonos! Bien, espero que hayas practicado mucho los mandatos informales afirmativas, porque hoy tienes que aprender los mandatos informales negativos y son muy diferentes que los mandatos informales afirmativas. I think other than food and just talking to different people from around the world, one of my favorite things to do when I travel is to go hiking and camping. I love being outside, and some of the world's most amazing places are natural wonders. Now, I love museums and historical sites, but there is just nothing like hiking the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, or rowing a boat on a glacial lake, or walking through a rainforest to the sound of monkeys, birds, and all kinds of insects that you've never even seen before. I usually go with a guide, or a friend who has been before, so I can learn all the neat little facts about the places that I'm visiting. Plus, it's nice to have somebody to talk to and share the experience with. And just like any museum or historical site, there are rules to be followed, mostly rules that begin with no. No fumes. Do not smoke. No pises las plantas. Don't step on the plants. No nades en la catarata. Do not swim in the waterfall. Rules, rules, rules. And like I said before, I like to go exploring these outdoor wonders with someone who is friendly. So would they use the tú form or the usted form to talk to me? The tú form. And we're friends, right? So let's work on commands that you would use to tell a friend what to do, like me. You already know that the affirmative to command is just the third person singular of the simple present, but the negative to command is very different. It uses what is called the subjunctive mood. And if you know anything about Spanish, I'm sure you've heard some horror stories about having to learn the subjunctive tense. Well, they're all lies. The subjunctive is so easy that you're going to learn it today. At least part of it, the tú form. But you know I like to let you figure things out on your own before I just give you the answer. So why don't I give you a few more no rules and see if you can figure out the rule for the dreaded subjunctive in the tú form. I'll give you the infinitive and the conjugated form. So see if you can spot the difference. Caminar. No camines en el barro. Don't walk in the mud. Comer. No comas de esa parrilla sucia. Don't eat from that dirty grill. Subir. No subas las piedras. Do not climb the rocks. Salir. No salgas del sendero. Do not leave the trail. ¿Lo viste? Let's look at the first three with just the infinitives and the negative commands. Caminar. No camines. Comer. No comas. Subir. No subas. What do you notice? The ends are switched. Qué extraño, ¿no? AR verbs in the subjunctive use an E where you would normally have an A, and ER verbs and IR verbs use an A instead of an E. But there is one more thing too. How do you find the stem? Usually you would say, drop the infinitive ending, right? Well, that is only for tenses in the indicative mood, which is every tense that you have learned so far, the present, the past, the imperfect, and so on. But for the subjunctive, instead of using the infinitive, you use the first person singular of the present indicative minus the O ending. For most verbs, this will be the same as the infinitive stem, like caminar. The indicative stem is CAMIN after you take the AR off the infinitive, and CAMIN after you take the O off camino. But there are many others, including all the spelling changers, stem changers, and irregulars, that will be very different. Take that last example I gave you, salir. No salgas del sendero. What is the indicative stem using the infinitive salir? S-A-L, right? Just take off the I-R. And this is the stem that you're going to use for the present tense, like sales, you leave, the preterite tense, saliste, and all of the other indicative tenses that you know. Now, what is the yo form of salir in the indicative present tense? I'll give you a hint. It's a go verb. Salgo. So you take off the O and you have your subjunctive stem. S-A-L-G. Once you find your subjunctive stem, you just need to add those opposite endings you learned a second ago. For AR verbs, for a to command, you'll add ES. And for ER and IR verbs, you'll add AS. Want to try a few? I'll set you up with some negative to commands, and to help you along, I will give you both the infinitive and the yo form in the indicative present. ¿Listo? Hagamos uno juntos. Aquí tienes el infinitivo olvidar, que significa to forget. Y la primera persona del presente del indicativo. Olvido. I forget. Abajo tienes dos líneas y el resto de la frase, usar el repelente anti-insectos y el bloque del sol. Do you know what goes in that first blank? What word do you need to negate verbs in Spanish? No. All right, for the second blank, find the stem from the yo form of the present indicative. Just take the O off the end of olvido and you get O-L-V-I-D. Now, for an AR verb like olvidar, what ending do you need to add for tu? AS or ES? ES. That's it. Now just say the whole thing aloud, in voz alta. No olvides usar el repelente anti-insectos y el bloque del sol. Ok, estás solo. Te toca. Permitir. Permito. A los mosquitos ni los moscas entrar en la tienda de acampar. No permitas. No permitas a los mosquitos ni las moscas entrar en la tienda de acampar. Don't let the mosquitoes nor the flies in the tent. Usar. Uso. Los fósforos para la leña mojada. No uses. No uses los fósforos para la leña mojada. Don't use the matches on the wet wood. Pisar. Piso. Las hormigas. No pises. No pises las hormigas. Don't step on the ants. Mirar. Miro. El sol con los binoculares. No mires. No mires el sol con los binoculares. Don't look at the sun with the binoculars. Molestar. Molesto. Las ardillas. No molestes. No molestes las ardillas. Don't bother the squirrels. You just finished your first lesson on the subjunctive, and hopefully you're still alive. The next lessons are even easier, and I look forward to sharing more about the subjunctive with you. You can review what you learned so far with the article on to commands in the verb section of the reference page at SpanishDict.com/reference. You can practice all of your new camping and wilderness vocabulary with flashcards as well as the writing and speaking assignments at SpanishDict.com/learn. And don't forget to ask questions, answer questions, and provide feedback for your fellow students in the forum and video chat. As always, everything at SpanishDict.com is completely free, so check it out. Until next time, hasta luego y nos vemos!